can't keep doing the same thing over and over and expect a different result. That's called insanity. Change ain't coming. Tell the people change is here. We taking what is ours. We ain't never scared. We gonna fight for our rights. Ain't no backing out. The Bahamas loving how we got this real blackout. Taking our country back, not living so hopeless. Vote for Lincoln Bain, our Bohemian Moses. A real leader coming with the vision and the plans. Let's take a stand, every Bohemian woman, child, and man. The people can't be crying and hurting and jobless. Don't be fooled, y'all are the parties that cause this. Vote for COI for changing the office. We fighting for our rights and our natural resources. The people can't be crying and hurting and jobless. Don't be fooled, y'all know the parties that cause this. Vote for COI for the change in the office. We fighting for our rights for our natural resources. Yeah. Stand up and make a change. Yeah. For Bohemians everywhere. We gonna make a change. Change is here. We gotta quit with tradition and let's go forward a mission to build a better Bahamas for all the children that live in. They sell our country and land and give it to all the foreigners. Keep Bahamians suppressed because they think we're not good enough. So we're making a stand, throw up a fist with a hand. Stand united as one nation under the sun. We the people fighting for the new Bahamas. We bring the facts, but they wanna bring the drama. They can go and put a sign on every corner, but the cry of the people will be louder. Stand up and make a change. For Bohemians everywhere. We gonna make a change. Change is here. Stand up and make a change. For Bohemians everywhere. We gonna make a change. Change is here. Can't keep doing the same thing over and over and expect a different result. That's called insanity.
Good afternoon, Bahamas. We are live. You know what to do when you get in here. Please share. Please share this. I will wait for those who are probably on here. We're sorry we're a few minutes late, so they'll have to refresh their Facebook before they see that we're on. Please share, so that we can get the word out. We are living in a country where corruption is the order of the day, and where the media has decided that they don't want the real truth out. And so we have to share the message in order for the Bahamian public to know what is going on. We have a lot to talk about today. We have quite a bit to talk about today. And of course, we got to get right to it. So I just want to welcome a few people. Our Sunday lives are going to be called the National Address because we're going to be addressing the nation on Sunday. And we're doing that because it's a platform that we have to be able to get the word out, to get the message out, to let the Bahamian people know exactly what's going on, what happened during the week. And sometimes that's going to be me doing it. Sometimes it'll be my deputy. Sometimes it'll be a panel. But we have to get the message out, the real truth out. We have 4 years to go. That's how I feel. We have 4 years to go. And we have to make sure that the real truth goes out to the Bahamian public. It's not covered up by media, that politicians, whatever tricks they're up to, we're going to let you know. Whenever they tell you something that is not so, we're going to be on top of them. We are going to be the real and true opposition. Some of your family and friends don't have Facebook, And so those people can go to YouTube. You can share the YouTube link. It is also broadcasted on our Bahamian Evolution link on YouTube. So if you go to our Bahamian Evolution YouTube page, we are broadcasting there simultaneously. And by next week, we're going to set up our Coalition of Independence YouTube page so we can go directly there to make it easier for you. And so you can do this on my profile, Lincoln Bain, or on YouTube for your friends and family who don't have it. Please take some time to go on WhatsApp right now, share, spread the message. Let them know that we are on and that we are live, because we have to have some serious discussions today. We need to talk about Dubai, the good, the bad, and the ugly. There were so many things we needed to address this week, but we're going to touch on Dubai. We need to let you know about the final, some updates that we got about the defense force officer who was killed in that homicide by the police. We also need to talk about immigration. We have serious immigration matters that's happening in this country that you are ignoring, that people are ignoring, the media and the politicians are ignoring at this time. And we need to pay close attention to these things. Country is under invasion. We are suffering from a massive invasion right now that is not being discussed. And they're talking about some other things. I'm going to touch on that a little later in this. We got a video to show you guys, but we're going to touch on that later on this. Our country is under an invasion. And if we don't act now, there will be no Bahamas for Bahamians in the next 5 years. We will be locked out and blocked out. We will be replaced. We will not be a part of this economy other than as slaves, displaced slaves. We need to save our country, and we need an organization, a group of people who are serious about defending the Bahamian people. And so as we bring you an update on the defense force officer and what happened, we're also going to hear from the family of the killing before the defense officer by the police, the young man who was killed before that. We're going to hear from his family, because we want you to know that these people are real people and what the consequences of death is. We have some things we need to solve in this country. So, and then you're going to hear from his family, the family of a gentleman killed by the police. Of course, he too was vilified. And the family, of course, wants you to know that, no, what they're painting him as is not him. Why are people being vilified all of a sudden whenever they're killed in a certain way? We need to address that. And you're going to hear directly from the family today. Okay? But of course, we're going to get to all of those things. I just want to make an announcement to all of you that, remember, they had a case that they brought up recently, a suspicious case in my view, that they brought up against me, that they plastered all over the media. When I spoke to give my side of it with a press conference, they didn't, the media didn't cover anything that I had to say. They didn't cover any of it. They just said that he said he's going to appeal, but we laid out the whole case for them and they ignored it. Of course, now I can't speak on that anymore, and well, no one can. So I'm looking forward to Cho speaking on it so we could deal with them, because I have officially filed the appeal. So the appeal is here, documented, the government stamp on there. So I have officially filed an appeal, because we are going to fight that if we have to take it to the Privy Council. So I just wanted to mention that we have appealed. I will not be speaking to that moving forward, because it's before the Court of Appeals. But we're looking forward to the results by the Court of Appeal or by the Privy Council, however it has to go. All right, so thank you for that. We just wanted to put that out there. And this is where we are. Ladies and gentlemen, the country over the last few days has been in an uproar because of a trip to Dubai, because the Bahamas has been represented in Dubai. First of all, as we start this, I want you to understand that I am not biased in any way. This is not political. One thing that always disturbs me is that government they seem to want a nation of sheep. That's what they seem to want. People who are just going to go with whatever they do. Just listen, whenever we do good, you praise us, but if we do bad, just shut up and don't say nothing. They seem to want a nation of sheep, mindless sheep. But I just want them to understand that the generation of sheep is over. The days of the people who would just sit back and watch things happen, that's over. If we can praise you when you do good, like your Christmas display on Rawson Square, we should also be able to speak, criticize you when you do bad or when you do wrong or when you do something that can be done better. Okay? We should be able to speak to our government. That's what democracy is all about. All right, you can come and fix it. That's what democracy is all about. And that's what we are about. And so we're not going to have a nation of sheep. There are people who say, oh, election is over. What do you mean election is over? Of course election is over. And so we're not talking about election. We're talking about our country. We have a country to fix. How we were able to fix a lot of the wrongs that ministers did was because we spoke out. The PLP did, we did, regular citizens did. When they locked down the country with no notice and grandma was stuck in the house with no water, no food, there were some things they didn't think of. The government isn't always right. They don't always do right. And so sometimes there's things that the government does that we have to fix, ladies and gentlemen. And so we have to be able to stand up and speak to our government. Minister shut down the country. Some people spoke out. They protested, even got arrested. He had to open up the country. When they first did their lockdowns, there was some stuff that he absolutely did not do right. There's some stuff that he messed up on. They forgot that security guards should be essential workers. But of course, they had pool cleaners, because that affects the rich as essential workers. If we don't speak out, how are we going to fix it? We have to be in a society where we're willing to accept the praise and accept the criticism. That is the only way we're going to work. That is how our system works. In Parliament, that's how it works. You have the government and the opposition set up to oppose, because society believes that as long as you have someone else with other eyes, with a job to look at the other side of it, then everything is going to be okay. And we won't have dictatorships. That's how the courts work. You have two learned lawyers with different views and different opinions on the same case. One of them is going to win because they convince a jury who don't even have a legal degrees, or they convince a judge of their side. But they are going at it. Both of them are learned. It's not who's right or wrong, it's who brings the best argument. But that is how our system works. So when people come and say that they don't like what the government did, accept it and do better. Change. We don't need political cronies telling people that they shouldn't speak up or that they're jealous because other people went to Dubai and they didn't. That's not the case. If they don't like how it was done, that's what they don't like, and that's what they're speaking out against. So let me start with this Dubai thing by saying, I 100% absolutely agree with the trip to Dubai. Were I Prime Minister of this country, I would have gone to Dubai also. I would not have done it like they did it, but I would have gone to Dubai. In fact, I might have spent even more money than they did, but I would not have spent it like they did. And so we have to dissect that. We have to unpack that and dissect that. Because I think what happened is another epic fail, like the Junkanoo situation. That was an epic fail. And it seems like more and more they are doing stuff because there's no planning, because there was no vision and no plans coming into this, they are failing. Let me tell you something. Had we come into this, we had a plan for Junkanoo. Had we come in this, we actually had a plan for Dubai. I had actually started to set out what we were going to do in terms of sending cultural people around the world to represent the Bahamas and encourage persons to come to this country. That would have been started with the trip to Dubai. Yes, there was a plan for Dubai. And so we need real thinkers. We don't need nepotism. We don't need people going on a trip because they are related, or we don't even need the appearance of nepotism. That is what some people are up in arms about. And so I'm going to dissect this, and I want you to dissect this with me. And I'm going to take your comments while I am doing this, so that we make sure that we answer the questions and look at this properly. We need to dissect this because this is an opportunity to transform our nation. This is an opportunity to transform our thinking and our mindset. Oh my God, look at the first place they have gone under the attention of the whole Bahamian public, Dubai, a place that we were representing to the Bahamian people the whole time that we were campaigning. Dubai. This is going to be an interesting one today. Ladies and gentlemen, What I want them to bring back from Dubai, what I want them to bring back is not souvenirs, it's not trinkets, it's not even investors. What I want them to bring back from Dubai is a different way of thinking. I want them to study while they're there. I don't want them to have a meeting where they're begging persons for investment. I want you all to study while you're there how Dubai lets their people benefit from their natural resources. And it's really the United Arab Emirates. Dubai is a state. That's what Dubai is. It's more like a state or a city, you can call it. It's not a country, like some people are saying. Okay? But the United Arab Emirates lets their people benefit from their natural resources. Their people directly. So they have many benefits to their people from their natural resources. But we're going to talk about all this today. But first, we got to look at what's been happening. There's some good, there's some bad, and there's some ugly that went on in the last couple of days as relates to Dubai. And I want you to see this. Many persons are angry, some are upset. I will start by saying, I am, in some instances, I'm glad that we went because I would have gone to. But I wouldn't have done it that way. Some things that I see is outright embarrassing. Outright embarrassing. Some things that I'm seeing. There are persons who are there. I know many, and I think the majority of the people who went over there on a personal level. I know them. I see some people who deserve to be there. D-Mark, he deserves to be there. He is a very talented young man. And other people who was in the video with him. All of the Bahamians who went there are talented Bahamians. Dynamite Daisy is a very talented Bahamian. Shabak is a very talented choir. But is this the best fit? Let's talk about this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a real conversation. And who don't like it, then it's too bad. So like I said, I have some close friends there, some very close friends. But we have to be real with our country and the state that we're in. So what are we gonna do? Let's dissect this. First and foremost, I love Dynamite Daisy, and in fact, I participated with her in many plays and other things that she did with her. I actually traveled with her to do some of this. She's a talented young person. And of course, I feel that plays should happen, but I don't think that what they are doing is a fit. I'm gonna let you watch this, ladies and gentlemen, and then I'm gonna let you make your decision. Remember, Dynamite Daisy is a close personal friend of mine. And this is nothing against her. This is nothing political. This is the opinion of many Bahamians, and it's my opinion. Let's watch this clip that we said we're going to the world. But let's watch what we're taking to the world. Play the clip of Dynamite Daisy, please.
Make sure you're working. Very good. I think they're gonna be late for every thing people call them. They'll be able to see if you got chairs for the whole family. Two. Keep still, boy. Keep still. 1, 2, and 12. Yeah, they should be here in a minute. Hey, watch it. Step up. Watch it.
Daisy.
Watch it.
Daisy, calm down.
Hey.
It's Henry and Gladys.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. You out of your mask, and I have on my glasses. Come on in. You know, I know kung fu. I know judo, but I don't fool with voodoo. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
All is well. Welcome.
Well, where have we been all dressed up, Daisy?
So the same place you've been all dressed up, darling.
Very good.
Very good.
I see you've decided to take my advice and become more dignified by
Gladys.
going to church.
Gladys.
Although I'm quite sure it'll take much more than church to dignify you.
Listen, Gladys. Now, I've invited my family here. After social distancing for so long, we've been apart, and we've come just to have an amical family dinner. Now, you didn't show me for the last 13 years how cantankerous we could be. Do me a favor, just be nice. I don't want a present, I don't want a gift, I just want you to be nice. Could you do that for me?
So,
Yeah, honey.
how is my favorite sister doing?
Yeah, I'm great.
Come on, sit down.
Sit down. Okay, not a problem.
Rest your legs.
There you go.
No doubt they've been wobbling about all blessed morning.
She may be eccentric, Gladys, but she is not harming anyone.
No, I'm not harming or hurting a soul. Thank you.
All right?
Yeah.
Is business going good?
Listen to me, business is booming. I mean, not right now because the COVID situation is causing people to stay away. But nonetheless, we are Bahamians and we have an indomitable spirit. So yes, if we rise, we will be all right.
All right,
Yeah.
great.
That's right.
So you said you went to church today.
Oh yes, sir.
Oh, now he must be rolling over in his grave to her. You went to church.
These interrogational questions, you know. I've been to the same church you've been to. What happened is then they bowed their head to pray. That's
Okay.
Came in. And before they lift their head to say amen, I have to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to let you be the judge. For me, you can see the audience. A couple of people they performed in front of. Was that worth all the airline tickets? Was that worth all the hotel airfare? Was it really going to the world? I think they would have had more tourists in front of them had they done that in Bahamas, but we're going to get that into that in a minute. Did you see the small amount of people? They have more people than that watching their plays here in the Bahamas in their church or in a stadium here. Was that worth the plane tickets? The per diems, the very high per diems every day? Was it worth the investment? That's the first question. You be the judge. Daisy is talented. She's very talented. She's a gifted Bahamian. She went to school for this. But there's a couple of problems here. One, diplomacy. You're going to a country that has a certain culture. Their culture is that they don't believe in alcohol. They don't believe in the drinking of alcohol. And so to send someone there to do a play in front of the public that is depicting a drunken woman, I think it's kind of out of order. And I think that the Bahamas should have reconsidered that. I think that we need to reconsider that. I think that that was kind of inappropriate. The next thing is you're speaking with Bahamian dialect, etc. They won't even understand much of you're saying. And so that's another problem. The next thing is that doesn't display Bahamian culture. There's nothing I saw in that play just now that says the Bahamas. Now, I didn't see the whole play, to be honest with you, but there's nothing that I saw that says this is the Bahamas and this is us. Now, I participated in an event in New York at the Harlem Square that the previous PLP administration held. I was a part of it. And they had singers, performers, dancers, and a lot of Bahamian culture. And they put on one show, one play, that the play, within the play was written in, you know, the quadrille dance and everything else, the old folklore stuff and everything Bahamian. I was so proud of that production. And that is a production I think should go around the world. If that had gone to Dubai, I would have said, good job, Progressive Liberal Party. They promised to continue to take it around the world, but it stopped. It never happened. That was more suitable. This is not. This is an embarrassment. This is an embarrassment. Not because the persons aren't talented, they are talented and gifted. I know all of the people who were in that video just now, on a personal level, everyone. But ladies and gentlemen, that is an absolute embarrassment and a waste of our country's money. To fly over there, to sit in front of about 20 people or so, I don't know the real number, I didn't count, if that. How is that taking the Bahamas to the world? That's ridiculous. That is a free trip. We need to get serious in this country. We need more vision in this country. That was embarrassing. I don't know what else is in store, but what I saw, I am disappointed with. None of those talented Bahamians, but that just wasn't a good fit. Now, there's a way that could be a good fit, but not sending that to Dubai. I continue. Next, they sent a choir called Shabak. And again, I know all these people on a personal level. This is not to say anything negative about the talent of those people. Shabak is an amazing choir. They're a good choir. But there's always a fit. There's always a fit. Do you understand? And so you have to understand the fit. I won't send, certain Bahamian performers, Ancient Man. I wouldn't send him to an opera. I wouldn't send KB to an opera or to a rock concert at Woodstock. It just doesn't fit. Although they're talented, I want to see them everywhere in the world, but you have to make it fit. And so they sent Shabak, a gospel choir, to sing these traditional Bahamian songs about Uncle Lou going to hell. And that's one thing. A song is a song. But there's so many choirs and artists who could have done very well at that. I have no problem with Shabak. They sound good. But it's not that fit. It's not that lock. It's not. See, World Expo is about countries sending the best they have, the best that represents them, and presenting it to the world. I just want to say this. The Office of the Prime Minister released a press statement that said that this is the first time that Bahamas is participating in the World Expo. I would to say now in front of the whole Bahamas that that is an absolute lie. That is a falsehood. In 1988, I myself participated with the E.P. Roberts Chorale. We put the documents on the screen. I participated with them, and we were going to show you video, but we couldn't get the technology working. DVD, we had a DVD player we was trying to get on there digitally. DVD is starting to be yesterday. But we participated. We raised the money to go there ourselves. We had to raise $70,000. We sang for different agencies around this country, including McDonald's, the U.S. Embassy, Life for Key, and others. And we raised the money. We worked as young 9, 10, 11-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 1 8-year-old. And we traveled to World Expo in Brisbane, Australia in 1988. Used to be every 4 years then. We traveled there. So this is not the first time we are going. We represented the Bahamas. And so if you can put the pictures up, we just want you to see that a book was written about that, and that's in the library in the United States. A book was written about this, and Bahamians don't even know this. A book was written that focuses on this trip, that these kids from Angleston in the ghetto raised money to be able to go to Australia. And so we were singing in the hotel, on Cable Beach Hotel. And someone saw us and said, wow, you guys need to go to Miami. We were singing in Miami. Someone said, wow, this choir is amazing. You guys need to go to Disney World. And some executive from Disney World, and we went, we performed at Disney World. Someone saw us and they said, wow, this choir needs to go to the World Expo in Australia. And we had to raise $2,000 per child. We had to raise $70,000. We ended up raising $90,000. It's an amazing accomplishment. I wish I could tell you more about it now, but for time, I will say that we went there, we performed, it made news around the world. That's the book that was written about it, From Poverty to Purpose, about some Angleston kids, these choir, 30-something kids, 8, 9, 10, and 11-year-olds, who traveled to the next side of the world, represented the Bahamas. It was on local news, and it was all over international news. You wanted to play the international news clip for you. I probably played it not live. And it showed how nothing is impossible. And this is where I got my first lessons that nothing is impossible. And so I would never hate on other choirs that are going away and traveling. I would never hate on people that got to be able to be a part of this kind of opportunity. I'm happy for everyone who got to go on this Dubai trip, but we still have to speak the truth about it. We got a letter that you can see here from World Expo, thanking us for our participation. They were elated. We stole the show as young kids doing this. This is the first time that they had a choir, etc., perform. Because World Expo was always about technology, and Japan had robots. Other countries showed their roller coasters. America showed stuff from NASA. They showed the best of their country, what their country's about. And so this is what it's all about. All right. I'm hoping that they showed you the letter, etc. But we'll get to that another time. I want to move on. And so I want to thank Dr. Edward Robinson, who was the one who raised us and brought us up at a time when there was deep poverty in Angleton, and got us to see that nothing is impossible. Now, back to this choir. There are other choirs like ours. That choir was the one that inspired the Bahamas National Youth Choir. And my thing is, I would have preferred for the Bahamas National Youth Choir to be a part of this. They were part of the original planning and were cut for some reason. I don't understand why. To put Clint, who is connected to the government, and his choir on there. Again, Clint is my personal friend. I have no problem with him, but I have to speak truth. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to see Clint and his choir, Shabak, for a couple of seconds. And the small audience, again, they performed in front of. Because you're saying that, oh, this was worth it because we got to take the Bahamas to the world and the Bahamas got to see us. No, you sang in front of maybe 20 people in some instances, maybe 80 people, you know, grew to, if that, or 60 people. How is that worth what you spent? Let's play this. Let's play the clip of Clint and crew.
And for the next few minutes, we're going to take you to the best place on earth. It's called the Bahamas. Are you ready? Let's go to the Bahamas. Here we go. We're going to have some fun with how we do it in the island of the sea called the Bahamas.
Okay, you did something. Oh, look, you're showing the crowd. Look at the crowd. Hey, look at that. Okay, let's go. It was singing in front of a couple of people. He went so deep that he... ladies and gentlemen, this is extremely serious. They sound like a nice praise and worship choir. That isn't the groove. And I want you to see the difference with this choir. This is the National Youth Choir. They wouldn't have been on there just shaking, moving like this. They would have put on a performance. You would have seen the young girls with the Bahamian flared out dresses, and they would have been spinning their dresses and moving around, and they would have been all over that street and putting on a show. I want look at the Bahamas Youth Choir. Look at the difference, Bahamas. Look at it. Let's play the clip for them. Okay, so she said they said they need a minute in order to play it. I'm going to bring that back for you. Because they're trying to upload it. This is what I would have sent. You see, yes, they are good. If they were having a gospel fest and countries are representing, I would have sent Shabak without even thinking about it. The first name I would have said was, listen, Shabak, send them. But that, Bahamas, we have to get serious in this country. This government is starting off on the wrong foot. This is not a political statement. I'm not saying this for any political reason. I'm saying this because I'm a Bahamian who is concerned about the direction of our country. Again, I would have gone to World Expo, also were I Prime Minister. We'll get to the numbers in a minute because they're deceiving people by how they're wording it. They're making people think that Dubai actually paid for this. No, they didn't. They didn't pay for the trip. You see, I would have gone, but let me tell you the difference in our plan for World Expo 2020, which started in 2021. First of all, they're having Bahamas Day tomorrow, which is going to have the police force band. Perfect. I would have sent them also. Amazing. You could not have it without them. Great idea. They're going to have some other performance, DMAC, etc. DMAC is awesome. But guess what? Before I go to that, let me show you the difference in the choirs. So you saw what you saw just now with Shabak. Nice. They sounded good. They was nice. They was moving a little. And Clint was leading a song for the first time. But let's watch our National Youth Choir. That's not the National Youth Choir. That's Clint. Okay, they misplaced the clip of the National Youth Choir. That was Shabak again. That was Shabak. Listen, man, I need you to see this National Youth Choir clip. I'm so sorry that they weren't able to pull it, because there's a huge difference. There's a huge difference between the two, and that's what I would have done. The fact that they didn't send them is an embarrassment and an absolute shame. It's a shame. I want you to see if I could pull them up. See if I could pull them up. Looks like they're coming up. You just gotta see this. You just gotta see this. All right, I'm sorry. I gotta do this on my phone for y'all. It's that important. It's that important because I want you all to experience this. Look at this. I can't play the rest of it. Go on YouTube and look up your National Youth Choir and see the difference in the performance. I'm sorry I had to put that on my extra phone. But look at the difference instantly. They would have been putting on a show, a spectacular show at that place. How do you put someone who's connected to the government and them and send them and family and friends over there? Is shocking to me. Again, you're talking about a friend of mine. This is not politically motivated. But we can't expect for this to continue in this country. We need to send our best. Were we in the government, we would send people regardless of their political affiliations. We would be sending PLPs, FNMs, COI, anybody. But what you would really see is real Bahamians. That's what we need to change in this country. That's what we are fighting for. Not because someone is connected to the FNM because they did something for the FNM before, the PLP can't send them and vice versa. What is that, man? We're Bahamians and you're representing the Bahamas. Let me tell you what our plans were to launch this. There would have been a play, but it would have been a real play that incorporates, it would have been a musical that incorporates everything, incorporates a National Youth Choir. There would be a storyline like we did in Harlem that incorporates the singing, the dancing. We'd have had limbo dances. We'd have everything that's native to the Bahamas. But let me tell you what would have happened on Bahamas Day. We would have been headlined by Bahamen. I don't care if it costs us $100,000 to pay them. I don't care if it costs us $1 million to pay them. We would have been headlined by Bahamen. Everyone in that side of the world, when they hear that Bahamen is going to be opening this, they would have been there. Bahamen is not just big in America. They are big on that side of the world. They are extremely huge. They are rock star huge on that side of the world. We would have paid Bahamen to go there, headline this event, attract all of these people from that side of the world. Europe, they are huge. Japan, the Middle East, Asia, they are huge. Everyone knows them. More people know them than know the Bahamas. And so we would have headlined them. And then we would have brought the DMAX, the RV, the KB, and other people, and they would have opened for Bahamian, and that would have given them the exposure. Instead of hoping people just come, and then they see DMAC, etc., and then they see them, and then that's it, it's over. No, we would have attracted them. See, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. Yes, we would have also gone to Dubai. It's how you do it. We would have had a showstopper. We would have paid for our athletes to be there on a certain day at our pavilion. We would have paid them to do that. The world would know them. Our gold medalists would have been there to greet people, etc. We would have paid them to do that. So yes, we would have spent the money, but it would have had a value. Do you see the difference? Do you see the difference? Oh, listen, we could just continue on with this scrappy stuff where we just empower people, you know, who are related to us and that kind of stuff. If that's what y'all want, then y'all keep that Bahamas. I'm not interested in that Bahamas. We would have done it differently. Now, lastly on that, we just went to Dubai and we just showed them, if you heard the words Clint said, we're going to show you what happens in the Bahamas. We're going to show you a little bit about Bahamas. Watch the Bahamas. And then they started singing and dancing, Uncle Lou, etc. And let me tell you what happens from there. Let's say one of those tourists decides that because they saw Shabak, they want to come to the Bahamas. When they come to the Bahamas and they get off that ship, get off that airplane, they will not see any of that. Because we don't do that in the Bahamas. This is what I'm saying. If you find it necessary to spend millions of dollars, and they're saying it's $1 million, we don't believe them, but we'll get to that in a minute. If you're going to spend even $1 million to go over there and put our people in the streets of Dubai to perform, why don't you spend that to do that in the Bahamas? To give them something to experience when they get here. You just enhance this experience of Dubai. But when they get off that ship, what do they come to in downtown Nassau? They come to t-shirt shops and jewelry stores owned by Indians. Nothing else. We presented a plan to the Bahamas to close off Bay Street from traffic. We have a Rawson Square where they could have entertainment every single day. If you think that it's important enough to go there to sing in front of 80 people, why don't you take that same money on a yearly budget to make sure that there's entertainment for them to come to? Why can't we have Junkanoo on the streets every day? Close off Bay Street to traffic. Every day, Junkanoo is going down Bay Street. Babies are being paid to do that. That's their full-time job. Several times a day, they have that Junkanoo show going on, so they experience Junkanoo all year. Why don't we go to the next level in this country? You say the money is worth it. Then why don't you spend it here? Give them something to come to. Even if you attract those persons to come to Nassau, they're going to be disappointed when they get here because there's nothing for them to do. Why don't you spend the money in investing in Bahamians being able to open businesses to attract, to have something for the tourists to do? When they come to downtown Nassau at night, that should be lit up, and that should have Junkanoo and all kind of events going on, performances happening, scheduled. We talked about having Broadway-style shows on Bay Street on the eastern side to bring that back to life. That's where you put Daisy in there. That's where they learn about our culture. That's where they see the talented of the young people that can create shows in this country. Don't send it to Dubai. You just built up Dubai's tourism. You just built up the Dubai product. After having a more slow year in tourism, they just boosted, they believe, by 25 million people that are going to come through to that expo. And you just assisted them, but didn't think about assisting yourself. This is the next level of thinking that we have to get to. Okay, so we need a new Bahamas and a new way of thinking. I am embarrassed of what I've seen so far. Tomorrow is going to be a good show. I believe that the Defense Laws bond is going to be good. DMAC and those are going to be pretty good. But do you see how much different this could be? Now, something I wanted to address. The richest country in the world. And when I said it on my Facebook page, there's some people who said that, oh, America is not the richest country in the world. They started quoting Qatar and Monaco and other countries. Let me help you with that. Monaco and Qatar, they switch every so often. They're the richest countries in the world per capita. That means per individual that's there. Let me help Bahamians understand what that means. They say that we're the third richest in this hemisphere. So they're going to say I was holding up the PLP sign. I was holding up the number 3. They are. They say that we are the third richest in this hemisphere. All right. That is not true. We are not richer than Mexico. We're not richer than Brazil. All right. One of the biggest growing countries in the world, along with India and China, in what they call the BRIC. We're not as wealthy as these other countries around us. We are per capita. So they say the GDP, the gross domestic product, most of which does not belong to Bahamians. Most of our gross domestic product is owned by foreigners. So bragging that we are the third richest per capita, it doesn't belong to the capita. It doesn't belong to the people. Per capita just means per person. Per capita, every Olympics where we won 1 or 2 medals, we won that Olympics per capita. Per capita just means per person there. So let me break this down for you. If you have 2 houses and one house has 10 people in it, okay? And when you add up all of their net worth, you could say that they're worth $1 million, all right? With 10 people in there, all right? They may be worth $1 million. You might have another house with 2 people and they have $300,000 in net worth. But per capita, they have 2 people. That's 150,000 per person instead of 100,000 per person. So you have 2 people. So they are richer. This house is richer per capita, but not in reality. In reality, the house with the $1 million is the richer house. They use these numbers per capita. I don't know why they do it. It doesn't make real sense, especially that the people don't really own the resources, and most of the GDP is not generated by them. They're the workers, okay? So when you hear me say that Qatar is the richest in the world per capita, that's what I'm talking about. When you hear me say America is the richest in the world, that's what I'm talking about, all right? There's a difference. And so the richest country in the world actually spent $0 on this World Expo. In fact, it has been illegal for America to spend money on any of these types of events since 2001. They started out problems with them since in the 90s. They started out problems with these kind of events. They didn't see where it made sense. They'll tell you, oh, it's going to bring some economic benefit, but no one is able to show that. It just becomes trips for people on the government at the government expense. Trips to people around the world. And so in 2001, they passed a law banning them from being able to use government money. Now they still participated in every expo, but they made it against the law to use government money to pay for these stuff because they didn't see the value. Okay? And so they spent $0 on this. They participated now. But guess how much was spent on their pavilion? Their pavilion cost $60 million. Just $1 billion. $60 million. Guess who paid that for them? The United Arab Emirates. The same people who gave us the 3.5 million, they gave us 3.5 million to do our thing. But they gave America $60 million to build this lavish pavilion. $60 million. There it is. I would read that to y'all, but I want to cut the time. They said, listen, they wasn't participating in stuff because they didn't see the value in it. They didn't see where it made, although, you know, now though, let me show you the difference in the thinking they have now. So when Trump got in, everyone remember Trump? Good man. When Trump got in, he saw the business value of this. And he realized that what we need to do is not just participate in building up these other countries. We need to try to have an expo in our country. That's what would make the expo valuable. Going to an expo is not the valuable part. Having an expo and attracting the people and making that billions of dollars in your country is the valuable part. And so Trump said, no, let's change the law. Let's start that process so that we have an expo in America. So they're trying to have one, I think it's in Milwaukee or Minnesota, one of those countries. It's right there in the article. You can go look at it. It's Minnesota. And so they want to have it there. So they see the value of it. So now they said, well, we got to participate. But guess what? Again, if you read that article, they were having problems raising the money to even attend this one. They were trying to change the law to make it so that the government could pay for it. And they were having problems. They couldn't get people to raise some money because the last time they had one, they had a private company do it, and the private company went bankrupt because there was no real value to doing it. And so that made it difficult. So now private companies were like, we waste no money on this stuff. But now America is saying we want to have one in America, and that would have a benefit. And so while we're going over there, we should now be talking about how we could possibly have something in our country. Do you see the difference in thinking? How can we have something like this in our country where we attract the world? That is the difference in thinking, y'all. You see the difference? Jamaica, their pavilion, of course, the United Arab Emirates paid for theirs too. Okay? They stayed within budget. They didn't go over like us. The United Arab Emirates gave us $3.5 million. We wanted to spend more. They paid for Jamaica's, and the Jamaica stayed within budget. Not just that they stayed within the budget, so they didn't have to spend more of their own money. They were voted one of the coolest pavilions. They were voted one of the top 10 pavilions. Okay, Jamaica. Their pavilion is mind-blowing. When you look at it, you see Jamaica, you see the culture. It looks amazing. They have their Blue Mountain coffee in there. They have all the stuff in there. You can see their athletes. Bob Marley's the person you see when you walk in. And everyone is saying, go to the Jamaica pavilion. They stay within budget. And so this is what should be happening with us. Jamaica and Cuba are considered one of the top 10 pavilions. Us, we spent over budget and we still didn't get there. But guess what Jamaica did? Jamaica is now having a major event, all right? The World Free Trade Zone Association is going to have a major event in Jamaica where they're going to bring the world to Jamaica. They have free trade zones. They're trying to make Jamaica the hub. They're trying to make Jamaica the hub connecting this part of the world because they're so centrally located. This is what we should have been doing with Grand Bahama. This was in our plans. But of course, they're not thinking about this. They're thinking about how they could get money to their people. And so Jamaica is having the big association. Singapore is a hub like that. That's how they made their money. Dubai is a hub like that. That's how they got big, not from oil. And now Jamaica is trying to be a hub connecting because they're so central in this region. So all the ships, etc., come to them and it's a hub. They have a government that is now thinking. We have governments that's trying to give out t-shirts with $50 in it. You see the difference? I hope you're starting to wake up because that's really what this is about. The next thing I want to touch on is so much stuff we got to touch on with this because we still got to talk to that situation with the persons being killed by police. Every time I think about it, that really disturbs me. But in any event, we need to change our thinking. And instead of going to Dubai to look for foreigners and beg them for money to come here. We should be doing what America and other countries are doing. America is allowing their companies to have negotiations to expand their business horizons. Their people. It's not about their government. It's not just about when people coming here to invest. They're looking for investment for the American companies. Our government is over there begging for people to come here and take advantage of what we have. Hey, we give you some crown land. You come and you make some money off us and you give a couple jobs to our people. Do you see the difference in thinking? They should be looking to empower Bahamians who want to go into business. That's what all of the first world countries are doing. That's what their negotiations are about. They're allowing for free. And they can even rent the pavilion and rent rooms in the pavilion to negotiate. They're not saying, hey, come and build a hotel and hire some people. Spend your money in our country to benefit from our economy. We should be thinking of how to empower our people, just like Ingram and Christie empowered Sarkis Ismail, who was in the Bahamians, and went and found the money for his dream. Do you see the difference in thinking? But no, you sent some people over there just to say we were there. It is an epic fail. Again, we would have been there. I'd have had to use diplomatic immunity because I would not have been taking the vaccine to go there. That's another story for another day. On the next live, we may not even be able to put that on Facebook, but I'm going to show you the real story behind the vaccine and what's going on. We're going to show you some documentation to show you the real story of the vaccine and what's happening. I don't want to say that too much because then they're going to flag this video, that word, and then they're not going to share it. All right? But stay tuned. We're going to do that sometime this week, and it's going to blow your mind. It's going to blow your mind what's really happening. All right? But in any event, here we are with millions spent. Now, just understand, the government of Dubai paid for the prime minister and his entourage. That means the prime minister, we don't know exactly his entourage, but prime minister, his wife, and the aides. All right? That might include the deputy prime minister, we don't know. But it's the prime minister and his entourage. He's not the only person they did that to. Okay? And so the government of Dubai did not pay for anything to do with this trip with all these people that are coming. They didn't. Our government did that. They decided on that. And so they spent this money. I believe unwisely, because of the way they did it, when our pensioners were promised their raise and pensioners didn't get their raise. Remember, they were all over the news bragging about the raises for pensioners. They didn't get it. There are nurses who still need their pay. There are teachers who still need their pay. There's serious issues in this country, and they spent this money for vacation. We now have, I think, a record for the most traveling prime minister in the history of this country in just 1 month. While this country is falling apart, nothing is working. The school system isn't working. The legal system isn't working. The law enforcement isn't working. Immigration isn't working because we're under attack. We need work to do at the prison. We have to bring in foreign nurses because we ain't treating our nurses good and they just leaving. And we are applauding the government for bringing in foreign nurses. Nurses are leaving. That's why they're bringing them in. That means it's an epic fail. Our country isn't working, but our government, Fred Mitchell, can't sit down. We want to give them a chance, and I want to be fair in this. But what I saw and what I'm seeing so far is an epic fail. Epic fail. We got to do better. All right? So the Dubai trip, I think we have anything else in Dubai. The Dubai trip is an epic fail, like the Junkanoo, and we got to do better. We got to change this country. We got to change this country. All right. So they said it's worth it because, you know, we're going to be able to display to all these millions of people. No, 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 no. They were singing in front of small crowds, very small crowds. I don't know what tomorrow is going to bring with the state day that even Dubai, etc., pushes. That should be a good turnout. We hope it is. We hope they send video from there, where, you know, because every country has their day. For all of this 6 months, every day a different country has their day. And so if you look at that, there's small crowds. A couple people sitting in the chair, you know, this is a very small crowd. I mean, come on. Come on. That's not worth the plane tickets. Let's build up the Bahamas. Let's spend, this is government, if you all spend $10 million to put activities in the downtown area, I wouldn't judge you all. I would say good job. I would be singing your praises. Let's hire the limbo down. Let's put them out in the streets. Let's transform some of those buildings on the eastern side of downtown. Let's turn them into actual amphitheaters where we can actually have performances where they can come off the ship and have somewhere to go and something to do. Let's change this country, man. We need vision. That's what we need. Vision. We can't wait 5 years for this. We need this now. We need this now. And so let's, you know, I saw conversations on Facebook where people were saying, oh, we can't use the Dubai model. We can't be like Dubai, et cetera, et cetera. Listen, as a people, we need to learn to take the good and leave the bad. There is nothing and nobody that is perfect. And so we can take the good of what Dubai has done, which is empowering their people. What the United Arab Emirates does, they empower their people. Bahamians go to Dubai to work, you know. And this is the good part of what I see in Dubai. Bahamians go over there and work, their pilots, etc. Watch this thing with Daisy. I'm glad Daisy went there so y'all can see this. Watch this video with Daisy. There's female and male pilots. Run that for them. Let them see that Bahamians can go anywhere and be amazing. The Bahamians working at Warner Brothers in Dubai. Bahamians are doing amazing things over there. Play the video, please. Okay, I guess I couldn't get to the video. So, okay, the internet is giving issues, no problem. Hopefully you can see us now. Can see us on there. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted you to see that there are Bahamians working in Dubai. There are Bahamians all over this world doing amazing things. The only place Bahamians aren't appreciated is in the Bahamas. And that's what we need to change. And that's why we're being, you know, cut down like animals, shot, and then we'll be vilified, and then that'll be the end of us. You know, if you come and try to be political, you know, and try to bring change in this country, you know, they start to vilify you, lie on you, and people start to believe this foolishness. Or some who don't even believe it start to spread it, you know, and that's why a lot of good people don't go into politics, because it's nasty, because then they're going to start lying on you, vilifying you, and people actually believe this stuff, and knowing that that's what they do. But at the end of the day, someone has to do it, someone has to fight. This is a cause I'm willing to die for. I care about every Bahamian who's lost their land. I have so many Bahamians who come in where their land has been taken from them by government in other ways, and they just need someone to fight for them. I care about every Bahamian who was killed in this country. I want you to know that I love the police. Most of my good friends are police officers. I joined the police force at 18 years old, my first real job. At 18 years old, I was there for 10 years, officially, not. I went to study leave after 5 years and never came back, went into business. I appreciate the police. I know what they go through. I know how scary it is when you're approaching a car and you really don't know who's in that car, and you don't want to let them shoot at you first. I know what they are battling with. I know that a very small amount of police officers are bad. Even if it's 1% of them, If you have 4,000 police officers, 1% of them, that's 40 people. That could seem like a lot when the public has to deal with them. The new young recruits are normally over-aggressive, some of them. And people have a bad taste in their mouth from them. I was talking to a police officer, senior police officer the other day, and he was like, no, people are using this to make it seem like all police are bad. And I was like, no, people have had experiences with police. They've had some police officers they've had bad experiences with. I also have had bad experience with police. There are police officers who had bad experience with police because the officer they were dealing with didn't know that they were a senior police officer, and they started talking to them rough. People have this impression because of their experience. But I believe that the police can do good. I believe that the police, in general, most of them have good intentions. But sometimes police allow themselves to be used as pawns. Sometimes as political pawns. Sometimes as political prostitutes. I've been there when the call comes from higher up, let that person go, or go lock up this person. Why? No, you lock them up if you have a problem with them. Let me know politicians said to go and lock up anyone. I will not participate in that. When they try to lock me up for political reasons, to have some fake thing on me, I respect the police officer, the corporal who's on the desk, who said, listen, I'm not getting in their political nonsense. Bain did nothing wrong. This is a bunch of lies. I'm not putting them in my cell. I respect that police officer. They were taking me from station to station, and the officers there were refusing to take me in, even when they had space in the cell. The officers were like, they're not getting in that. Tell the politician, come and lock them up. Lock him up themselves. Let them come and put him in the station. All right? That was their stance, and I respect that. And there's some police officers who are overzealous. In most instances, police killings are justified, but there are some instances where it is not. There has been, since from 2003 to about 2018, I think, there's been about 36 police killings. 8 of them were considered wrongful deaths or outright murder. 8 of them. 5 of them, they just couldn't come to determination. That means that sometimes there is times when police have done wrong. It has happened. There's been cases recently where it's been determined that they've done wrong. So don't say that the people hate the police or don't trust the police because they are suspicious of the circumstances. They have a right to speak their opinion or to feel a certain way, because it has happened. Don't make people think that they've done something wrong because they're standing up for a defense force officer who's a decorated officer. I'm going to get to that in a minute. I have some property here of someone who died at the hands of the police. You're going to hear from in a minute. If a decorated officer is shot, someone who knows about discipline and knows about training, we have a right to question that. And so for Wayne Monroe to tell people to basically shut up and be sheep and don't question the police, just trust them. You are out of order, Wayne Monroe. The commandor of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force said that the medical officer of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force said he had some concerns with, his mental state. Do you know what his mental state that they're referring to? He was under a lot of stress. He wasn't crazy. He was under stress because of a situation with his mother. I won't be like Wayne Monroe and say what the situation is. He was under stress, like almost all of us right now. The man on the day his mother was killed was in his car praying. We are Bahamians. We know our culture. We know how we pray. Sometimes you've been in church and you see some of them people flaring all over the place. And they're on the floor. They're rolling over. They screaming and shouting and speaking in tongues. If you were to see them do that outside of church, you'd be like, wow, what's going on here? But some people do it outside of church. There are people who go on the beach and pray and do the exact same thing. You look at them, you'll think something wrong with them. Nothing wrong with them. They're praying. You stop them, they'll start preaching to you and finding out your situation and if you are right with God. Nothing wrong with them. And the man was praying. You see, Wayne can use that. And remember they said that they gave some welfare assistance to his mother? It was his mother that had the issue, and he was going under stress because he was there caring for her, man, like so many of us. Why are you all vilifying this man? He was under stress. The medical officer of the defense force, you heard the commissioner, he is not a psychiatrist. He cannot diagnose anybody with mental illness. He is not a psychiatrist. And even if he had some concerns about that, there are many times that doctors misdiagnose people. They had a concern that I had years ago while I was in police force, that I had a heart disease and I was right at the door of dying. But when I went to Dr. Theosopoulos in Leipzig and he did his own ECG, he said, no, they just read your ECG wrong. And they was about to put me on all kind of medication and treatment right away and this and that. And my mommy told me, don't go on. No, you go to the other doctor and get a second opinion. And so not because the doctor felt that way, and I'm still here and still checking. So even if the doctor had some concern, the only reason that Wayne Monroe mentioned that to the Bahamian public was to vilify that man because of the situation. Now, the next thing is they're talking about the camera. They're talking about, they're saying that what they saw on the camera is consistent with the police report. Let me help you. They never released the police report, so we don't know what the police report says. They're playing with words to trick you all. What is in the police report? We don't know. They're only saying that it's consistent with the police report. They're not saying it's consistent with what Wayne Monroe said. They're saying it's consistent with the police report. And it's going to come out in the coroner's inquest. Wake up, Bahamas. A coroner's inquest is probably going to be 5 years from now. They haven't had one in the last 2 years. When are we going to have a coroner's inquest? They refuse to let the family see it, but all they're saying is it's consistent with what's in the police report. But they didn't release the police report. They are playing sleight of hand with y'all. They're playing with words. That's what politicians do. Wake up, Bahamas. And so the next thing that we're experiencing is that we're hearing that the police force is not going to give a military funeral to this. Sorry, not the police force. The defense force is not going to give a military funeral. That's a order. Because of he's not convicted of anything. He was a defense force officer when he died. There's no coroner's inquest to determine whether he is right or wrong. They should never have spoken about this publicly. That was Wayne Monroe's stance. I circulated the video for you to see that. That should never have been done. Let me tell you something else about a body cam, right? They are saying that it's consistent with what's on the body cam. The thing about a camera is it can't show you, it can only show you 2D, not depth. And so I could have on a body cam and I could come towards you and it could look like you are coming towards me. So the police officer could have come towards him and he could have taken a defensive stance. He's a martial arts instructor. He teaches them defense. And he could have taken a defensive stance and looked like he is coming towards a police officer. Because the camera will just show the two coming together. Let me show you what else the camera won't show. Let me show you what else the camera won't show. Come help me with this camera, please. Just take this camera up, and I just want them to see this. Because they are trying to deceive you. They're trying to make you feel like it shows, and you can leave it on the whole thing, you don't take it off. They're trying to make you feel like it shows that the guy went for the police officer's gun. Now I'm gonna walk in front of this camera. Take up the camera. Take the whole thing up. Take the whole thing up. All right. So imagine that this is the chest cam on the police officer, right? This is the chest cam on the police officer. This is about chest height because it's parallel with my chest right now. Although it'll even be a little higher than that because my chest, the camera is normally right here, right? This is the chest cam. How can you tell if I'm going for the police officer's gun? Right now, my arms are stretched, but you can't see that or not see that. You can't see what I'm doing with my arms. So how could the camera, all the camera could do is show that we came close together. So cameraman, walk close to me right now, sudden. All right? I didn't move. You go back again. I didn't move just now. The cameraman moved. All right? But it would have looked like I moved. Let's do it again. Come forward close suddenly. Go ahead. No, come. Oh, is it touch or why? I'm sorry. All right, let's try it again. Do it again. All you saw was coming forward. Now it could look like I was coming forward. You can't tell who was coming forward, and you can't tell what's happening below. How can you tell that I went for someone's gun? For someone who deals with cameras and stuff, I know the difference. But I know that you can't tell. How can you tell I went for someone's gun? All you can see, if there's a scuffle, you just see on the camera, two people close to each other. How can you tell? How can the camera have told the police commissioner, the Minister of National Security, that someone went for someone's gun? Perfect. So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want y'all to let them trick y'all. This was an attempt to vilify that young man. Now, the next problem is there's some reports that he was shot 5 times, some reports he was shot 7 times. In that close range, someone was coming to you and you had time to take your gun out of the holster and shoot them 7 times or 5 times. Bah, 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 bah. What? I mean, you couldn't be that close to me. 7 times? Using fear because I was walking towards you or running towards you? Let me give you some information. I was trained in the police force. I was already a black belt before I went there. I was trained by Gamal Nuri, world-renowned martial artist, Bahamian. He was a police officer. And one thing they taught us in the police training college, listen, police will always be in scuffles. Anytime someone comes and have a scuffle with you, that isn't a justification to shoot them. You have to be able to disarm them. You only take out your weapon if you feel they're going to kill you, but they always put in the report, oh, they was trying to go for my gun. Then that means that we need non-lethal weapons. We need tasers, pepper spray. Some of them have them on their own. But we need non-lethal weapons so that we're not killing people for any reason. Even if you're saying that the man had mental issues, that means that anytime someone has mental issues, don't call the police because the police coming to kill them. We have to know how to disarm and deal with a person, overpower them, even if they have a mental issue. I have had to lock up so many people with mental issues in my career as a police officer. It would blow your mind. Hundreds of situations. Sometimes it's the same person. Hundreds of situations. I couldn't take out my gun and shoot them every time. There was people on Bay Street we would have to shoot, Joneses, etc. We'd have to shoot. If that was the standard. So if your son is now having some mental issue, you call the police can kill him? It's no justification. The defense force needs to bury this gentleman. And because of how the Minister of National Security dealt with this, I'm calling for his immediate resignation. We're going to put that in writing. The media, we'll see if they'll put it out there. But we're going to call for his immediate resignation. He should not have been trying this in the public. He should not have been trying to vilify the gentleman. Again, Wayne Monroe is a friend, but I'm standing up for what is right. Wayne Monroe, you gotta go. Because if that is how you're going to be dealing with these kinds of situations, it seems as if you're protecting wrongdoers instead of victims in this country. That's all we're getting from you. That's the only feeling we're getting from you. Whenever Bahamian dies, some excuse comes out and treat us like we're nothing. You just vilify us. You see, the strategy of vilifying is that when you vilify someone, you don't care if they're killed. Think about it. You'll play with a hamster, but if you see a rat in your house, you'll kill him. And no one has a problem with you killing a rat. They sell products for you to kill a rat because they vilified rats. You'll play with a grasshopper in your hand, but a roach, oh, you don't want him to touch you because they vilified the roach. Grasshoppers have got the same amount of germs as the roach. They vilify. Because once they vilify you, they can kill you when nobody cares. I want to bring the family member of a young man who died just before this defense force officer died. Come. Both of you coming? All right, you can bring a chair and pull back the camera. The father of that young man is here, and the sister, you can come right over here. Let's pull the camera back. Perfect. We're gonna have to project our voice. Camera went back a little bit. Y'all can tell us if y'all can hear us perfectly or not. Perfect. You see, when someone dies, there are family members that are left. Sometimes young children that are left. And we don't ever think about that. The girl we just fought for last week, her father was killed, murdered. And now she's left in an unstable, situation. Thank God for her beautiful angel aunt. Took care of her. There's always family left behind. I want to talk to you guys, you're the majors. Medea is an artist. You hear her songs all over the radio. She's a very talented woman. She's a businesswoman also. Very talented businesswoman. Contractor. Yeah, young as she is, contractor. Bahamians are so talented. Mr. Major also is a businessman. Mr. Major, your son was taken from you. Did they try to vilify him in the same way?
Well, they're trying to associate him with some they're trying to find some reason as to why.
So they try to make it seem like he's a gangster.
Well, it wasn't actually said because there's no evidence of that. But everyone is trying to find out why. Why was he killed? Why was he killed in such a tragic manner? It wouldn't be left in such pain and misery because it is being said by a number of persons who create. I know people are saying that, oh, you shouldn't listen to the talk on the street, but that's how police get their information. That's how police do their investigation. because of what they hear from persons on the street.
Mm.
Uh, it is being said that our son was pulled up to the scene after leaving, after talking to an individual in under the porch. The porch is approximately 35 to 40 in line. So he left and he came back. Where he was shot was to the street. It is said that the police left from underneath the porch.
The audio isn't good. Can you point it towards him? We get the where?
The policeman was sitting underneath the porch where they congregated. And his car pulled up to the road. His car pulled up to the road crossway. It is being said that they left from the porch, already armed, with their guns out, walked up to the car, opened the car door, and opened fire on it. It is also being said that at least 40 shots, shells were picked up from the ground. 40 shells.
Did he have a gun?
I don't know my son. It's totally out of character to say that my son had it. It's totally out of his character. No, he did not have a gun. He came home 6:10 from work all day, left, and told us that.
I should ask you this. Did they say that he was shooting back at them? Or shooting at them?
The press release that came out days after. Normally, there's a press release on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
There was no press release from the scene. Press release that came out days after. It was Wednesday. He was shot Sunday evening. So the press release said that he was brandishing a gun. Now, if a man is brandishing a gun and you are 35 feet away, 40 feet away, and you walk up, you say, drop the gun, it doesn't make any sense. But from what I heard, my son, was sitting in his car. He pulled up in the front across the road, 30, 40 feet away. His door didn't even open his door, didn't even come out. They walked from underneath the porch with their guns already in their hands, opened the door, and opened fire. The hearing that 40 shells. Then we spoke to Mr. Todd, second in charge of CD. He said to us that 5 different shells found on the ground. That means it's 5 different guns. Now, we know where it happened. We know what happened. My son was killed. And we know how it happened. What we don't know is why. Why? Why would 3 police officers, they're saying there was 3 police officers, why would 3 police officers let those 40 shells to a man sitting in his car? They claimed that he was acting in a manner before he left. So then they also claiming that he came back 3 times. So if he was acting in a manner, why didn't you stop him? Right? So then he came back. So tell us what happened when he came back the first time. Then tell us what happened when he came back the second time. So if it was 3 times, that means that the 3rd time he pulled up, never came out of his car, and you just walked towards his car, brandishing, holding your guns, open his car door, and open fire on him. And then we're now hearing that they later found a gun in the car. That means he was shot before, he was killed before. You found a gun. But who shoots a young man? 3 police officers open fire. Wow, it's something that needs to be looked into. I'm asking the relevant authorities to look at the facts, what they are, do your investigation. I'm calling for a private investigation. You know, why is our country so different? Wayne Monroe, beforehand, before he was elected, spoke about our country need to move forward like Jamaica and these other countries, whereby we have private investigators. And then the minute he gets in power, he tells us that we need to trust the same police that he never trusted. When it comes to
No one has fought against the police more than Wayne. No one in the history of this country has fought against them. He's never trusted the police. All those words come from Freddie, tell me about your side of the love, your brother, your close.
My is just because all about this. So even we were pretty close. He was 31, I was 28. Used to talk a lot. He video called me. I think my family was very tight.
Yeah, and was your brother a gangster?
No. That's one thing I public to understand. I expressed that to talk to about Facebook chat posts shared about his murder. You can see numerous comments. Everyone is saying Azari was never had a gun. Azari was never about that life. Azari was not on the streets. He was even known to the police. His police record is on the streets.
Does he go out clubbing and doing that kind of stuff regularly?
He was inside for a really long time. He actually just started going out. And he really just like that work and writing stories, like music, and
So he was a homebody for a while.
He was a homebody. And he actually just started going out. Probably within.
And so he was killed when? Wow, the day after Christmas. You guys have my deepest sympathy. Has the police been in contact with you all about this?
Well, my experience as far as it went, the police came to the house. My dad, my mother, they came to the house and they said that they would not, so they would get the name, badge numbers, nothing, wouldn't say where he was. So they called me, brought up with a bag, went everywhere.
I think the audio is bad. Did the point at them better. Go ahead.
Yeah, so from 1 o'clock in the morning, after they called me, we went to CDU, we went to every police station, we went to Princess Margaret to check in the mall. We questioned on the GSWs. We ended up actually, because they didn't give us any information, we ended up having to narrow down the shooting to Fire Trail Road. We checked all over Facebook to see what shootings happened, questioned on most of them, and then we found out that the most possible one that so the most possible one that they said that we figured out could have been him. The most possible one that we figured out could have been him was Fire Trail Road. After we narrowed that down, we started looking everywhere, trying to find out information, calling everybody as much as we could. Then we realized a lot of the information of what really happened at that shooting was being blocked. We heard from sources, from news reporters, that they were actually turned around, spoke to people that were coming home that night. They told me guns were pulled on them for them not to pass the scene. As we started to talk to people on the streets, that's when we started to realize how much that incident and what actually happened that night was being blocked. We still didn't find out it was my brothers yet. We suspected as much. And then the next day, because they came to the house saying to come with identification, we went to CDU, and we was asking a lot of questions. Then we just got this rough, oh, the boss said come tomorrow at 12. I came back tomorrow, the next day at 12. The information was scattered. There was no report out as yet. I had already heard he was shot by off-duty officers, but from sources we heard that the what was in the control room was that it was on-duty officers that actually responded to the situation. Now I don't understand how now the report that comes out after I told the head of CDU that I know it was off-duty officers. The report that comes out says off-duty officers, but it doesn't match the control room. That's concerning to me.
Let me ask you this: have you ever like not liked the police? You
No.
never had a problem with police, right?
No.
You've never distrusted police.
I've never distrusted police. We were taught to give the police that most respect, especially from my father. Every time he always told us to humble ourselves to the police, especially knowing, him growing up the way he did and understanding what could possibly happen. Police are put in a position to protect. He always taught us if you wrong, apologize. I've never even been given a ticket in many circumstances just because I humbly apologize, and that's what we were taught. We were never taught to attack.
So this is not you against the police
No.
in any kind of way.
No.
Y'all are not no kind of gangster family, and no kind of y'all are good law-abiding citizens. You're build houses, all right. You're building big time houses out west, all right. So y'all just want the truth to come out, and y'all want a proper investigation. That's what this is about.
Yes, because you know what it is to wake up. My brother was going to work every day. You know what it is to wake up in the middle of the night. You afraid of that. Everybody's afraid of that middle of the night call. You know what it is to wake up. I wasn't feeling well, so I taken some sleeping pills. And my parents, they call me, so you know what it is to wake up and somebody tells you your brother with no record was shot down. You start to dig, and then you find out 45 shots, and he was sitting in his car. And then you have to go and view the body, identify a body with headshots. We are not gangsters. Everyone in my home has a squeaky clean record. We was taught, if you had any shots, hit the floor, and just keep your head down, try to stay as safe as possible. We was taught to respect the police. We was taught, I feel like we did everything the way it was supposed to be done. And that is not even me giving any excuses for any persons that are included or part of, I guess what they call gangster activity. I'm not giving even the police any excuses for killing them if it's not justified. Don't get me wrong, because I don't want anybody to think that I'm saying my brother didn't deserve this because he wasn't a gangster, because I feel like nobody deserves that level of overkill, regardless of the situation.
So they need to stop vilifying people. So even if someone is a gangster, that doesn't mean that they deserve to die in every situation.
I do not feel so. I feel like every circumstance and every situation, I feel like that's when you create a line between when you are brought in to protect and you want to be in the streets. Because if you feel like, I feel like police have put themselves in a position where they justify themselves to kill someone that has a record, but the circumstance didn't demand it. Which is, what is that called in the streets? Getting back. That is not policing. If they are not caught in the circumstance of what is going on, why is that person dead? Why? Because you feel like they have a record. And now, because it's been justified so much in this country, and we have people like the commissioner coming on talking about 13 idiots raising gun at my men is the reason why these police are entitled to kill even those that are not even known to police. This has truly gotten out of hand. The fact that, my brother has no record. And then even for it to come, within 2 weeks, a defense force officer is killed and called crazy. So this isn't about any personal agenda against the police. This isn't about any political agenda. Because sitting here today, I could have been very involved in politics had I wanted to. And Mr. Bain knows that. I could have been very involved in politics, and I decided not to be because I I just didn't want no part of it at that time in my life. And I'm not even looking for it now. I'm putting myself at the forefront because now death has knocked my door. And I felt for many people that I've seen it happen to, but when you ain't dead, you ain't past nothing. Nobody at home wants to feel this, and I urge every Bahamian to stand up, which is why I am here today. I urge every Bahamian to stand up because it won't be long before it's your relative. It will not be long. And I wish to this day that but God makes everything happen the way it's supposed to happen. I really wish this was a platform of mine a very long time ago. I am not here for any love of the community or anything. Like, I'm not even here to bash police. I'm not attacking police. I feel like the force and everything that is surrounding it is not structured correctly, because I feel that if you lack such training and you're not even capable of behavioral analysis to the point that you killed a defense force officer who trained police officers, which means he wasn't even armed, but your only solution is to kill. My brother was sitting in his car, but your only solution was to kill. Nobody used their brain. And I feel like that should alarm a lot of Bahamians, because it could have been me, it could have been you, it could have been your brother, it could have been your daddy, it could have been your mother. And there's no discrimination when it comes to a gun. 45 shots is overkill, and Azario did not deserve that. And even today, I want to ask anyone that is watching this that has any information. I understand that, this whole optics is going around about the police is the biggest gang, but the strength is in the community. Majority rule is a part of this country for a reason. The strength is in the community. Everybody saw what happened when the community in America stood up for George Floyd. If it was your relative, you would want somebody to stand up for you. Justice for Azario, justice for Rodney, justice for Marco, justice for every person that is laying 6 feet under due to the ignorance of these police officers.
Wow. I feel your passion. I feel your passion. That, again, I want to give you my deepest sympathies. And this is something that has to be investigated. And we need a change in our system. And we need that change right away. Police should not be investigating police, first and foremost. And the reason I'm saying certain things that I'm saying, I had conversations with a lot of police. I had defense force officers calling me crying, like, Lincoln, you got to say something. We can't let Rodney go like this. Defense force officers. Defense force officers, I need y'all to say something. Y'all got to stand. Y'all have rights. Being on the defense force doesn't mean you don't have any rights. Don't let them play y'all like that. You have rights. I need y'all to stand up. Say something. Don't be afraid. I see that they just put out a new policy for y'all on social media because some of y'all were speaking out. Y'all stand up together. When you stand up together, there's nothing they can do. I want to tell every police officer out there, I will fight for the police until the day I die. But there are persons who do wrong, whether they're police, nurse, doctor, lawyer, it doesn't matter. If someone is a victim, they're a victim. The next victim could be the family member of a police officer. This isn't the police against the public. These are specific incidents. What I want Wayne Monroe to pay attention to, Wayne Monroe, y'all said that there were 30-something police killings. I think 21 of them was just last year alone. 20-something of them. No one complained. No one said we don't trust the police. So when you see someone say, listen, this Rodney case doesn't make sense, don't tell people to shut up and just trust the police. Because normally, we don't complain. Normally, we do just trust the police. People didn't kick up and have an uproar when Mr. Major died, was killed. Only the family are feeling it. But guess what? The family of Rodney didn't say anything. The defense first officers didn't say anything when Mr. Major was killed. We didn't demand that there be a proper investigation. Guess what? We lost another good man. Who is next? It could be your family member. Then you'll be calling me saying, Lincoln, we got to address this. Well, why don't you stand with the Majors to avoid it being your family? Why don't you stand with Rodney to avoid another young Bahamian man? That's what you should. That's what we should. I want to thank all of y'all for tuning in. We got a country to save. We got a serious immigration situation that we got to deal with. We're going to deal with it next week, maybe Sunday, or we might have to deal with it before, but definitely want you to pay attention to something that's happened. The government says that they're looking to make some immigration reforms in our law. I want you all to wake up. They're now talking about asylum laws that we don't have in this country. That just passed over everyone's head while y'all was rowing about Dubai. But y'all don't know what that will do to this country. You know what asylum laws mean? That means 100 people come on the boat. Anyone says, I want to claim asylum, you can't deport them. They have to be allowed to stay, not in the detention center, but in the community. You got to give them a driver's license, NID. You got to allow them to have a job and work and have a bank account. And they can stay here. The asylum case could take 5 years, 10 years. They can stay here until that case is finished. By then, they've been here so long, they have a right to get residency. I know of persons from different countries who claimed asylum in the United States, in Canada, and they're allowed to stay there as if they're a resident or citizen. The only thing they can't do is vote. All they have to do is say, I claim asylum. Wake up, Bahamas. They just sneak that in on y'all while you're rowing about Dubai. We are under invasion. We have a real conversation about this. They're talking nonsense, but they're having to change the law to be able to repatriate people from out to sea. The law already allows for that. Section 21 and 22 of the Immigration Act. That's a trick. We're going to deal with all that next week. When you hear asylum by Brave Davis there, that means that they're trying to do some kind of payback. We cannot allow asylum laws in our little country. Every Chinese could come here and land and say, listen, asylum, because if I go back to China, such and such and such. Anyone can come from Cuba and say, hey, we don't like the government, we need asylum. They come from Haiti, Jamaica, oh, we're claiming economic conditions, we need economic asylum. Y'all better wake up. They are taking our country from under us. Just want to touch on those things today. Thank you all for staying with us. I want you all to pray for this family and stand with them. If they call you to stand with them, Dad wants to say something else. They talk out loud.
I just want to say to the Bahamas, I give God thanks and I give God praise. All the honor and all the glory of the justice that will prevail from the wrong that was done. Prayer warriors, we are fighting against principalities in high places. Continue to pray. Because I have my trust completely in God. And I know that justice through the Almighty God, for His honor and for His glory, will prevail. Thank you.
So this whole thing happened from the 26th of December. That means you should have your son's body now.
Yes, yes, and the body was released. And
when was it released? When was he released?
Just day before yesterday.
Wow, they had him all the time?
Yes.
Wow.
Just day before yesterday, the body was released, and he will be criminalized. Yep.
Okay. All right. I just want everyone to know that this is not against police officers. You know, I believe and support police officers. But when I call for the body cams to be released to the public, like they do in every civilized country, in the world, all of them. I'm doing that to protect the police. We don't have to go back and forth with all these stories. It was right there. There was CCTV there. When I'm watching on Channel 7 News Miami, they're showing you CCTV from incidents that just happened that the police released to the people. All right? She's saying that they actually went there and took the footage and they kept the footage. They won't release it. Whenever you do stuff like that, it's going to look suspicious. We need open transparency. There's no reason to not be open and transparent. Lastly, I am a citizen of Pinewood Gardens. The main road, Pinewood Drive, is horrible. They have deconstructed that road and not fixed it back properly. The New Day government. We are still suffering from flooding, etc. We know you need time to put your plan together, although you say you had them. Well, we had them, we was ready. Pinewood would have been fixed, the flooding problem already. With the road, as people are on this main road, driving, it is putting dust in the people who live on the roads' houses because you all left it dig up. People's cars are being broken up. Their rims are being destroyed. We got to fix this. You're not a bad person, Mr. LaRota, Miles LaRota. Let's get this fixed. I'm coming to your office. We got to fix this main road in Pinewood Gardens. And for people of Pinewood, if you need me, I am in the office every single day. Every day. We have not taken a day off from election to now. We've not taken a day off except for Christmas and New Year's Day. Every day. And so we got to make sure we fight for this country. I want to congratulate those who participated in our elections last week, the Southern Shores. They formed the first official branch of the Coalition of Independence. No, we're official party now. And so this week, we're going to be forming another branch, and every week we're going to be forming branches. And so we want to thank all of you. Please come in, pay your membership, become a part of this movement. We're not just about politics, we're about the Bahamian people. So now Southern Shores is going to be organizing, and they're going to be dealing with the concerns of Southern Shores. Me and Maria get so much calls of people in different situations that need help. And so now we're going to have an organized, structured system to where, you know, right now, I can't answer all the calls that are coming to me. Some people are catching feelings. Oh, you know, I've been trying to call you. I can only get who I get. But now you can go to your chairman or your potential candidate or your council member, the Southern Shores, tell them your issue. They'll process it. They'll get it to us. We'll get you there. Now you have more people on board to help with these different issues that are going on. Come in, pay your dues. Elections are going on. Make sure you participate. All the members will know when and where the elections are. And you can be a part of this movement. This ain't just for politics. This is a movement, y'all. Go to coalitionofindependence.com. Click on Become a Member. For the Family Islands, by this week, we should be able to send you the link to be able to pay your membership if you are there. But we're gonna every week, we're gonna be rolling out, and we're forming a amazing machinery that's going to be a force to reckon with. In 5 months since forming, we were able to take a chunk out of these so-called parties that are one. I want you to understand this. I showed them that picture of Pintard and Davis. It was easy for them to take this picture because they are one. This isn't just about politics for us. This is about standing up for the Bahamian people, standing up to the hotels when they victimize their internet issues again, standing up when the hotel is victimizing people, when the teachers are being victimized, when people are being victimized. We need a change in this country. We need something different. And that's what we're about. So if that's what you're about, join us in this cause, in this fight, the Bahamian people. I want to thank you for tuning in today. This was a powerful one. We're going to pay attention to what happened with Dubai in Dubai tomorrow. We hope that we could do things differently in this country, and we could do things to exclude nepotism. There you see it. They're one. You may think they're different, but they're one. They're going to paint the picture that, okay, it's time to be bipartisan and work together. No, they are one. One party will complain about stuff, and then the next party come in and continue the stuff that they was complaining about. They're working together. It's one party. So we're not a third party. We're the party for the Bahamian people. We need Bahamian leaders who are going to fight and stand up for Bahamians for once in this country. Put us first, man. Put us first. We need a government agency, ombudsman, that is going to fight for families like this. When they're in this situation, they don't know who to turn to. They don't know who to go to. They're going to keep calling the police to find out what's going on. No, they need an agency that's going to fight on their behalf. We need change. Thank you all for tuning in. Remember, you can come in, you can be a member. Go to the link that you see on the screen now. Become a member. Join us in this cause. This isn't about politics. This is about standing up for all Bahamians. Ladies and gentlemen, change is not coming. Change is here. See you next time.